Newcastle United have won 5 matches in a row for the second time this season in the Premier League. That's actually the first time this football club has done that in my lifetime. Our final and most recent matchup being against Brentford, and that was probably the hardest out of the 5 games, to be fair. Really good opposition team, pushed us to the end, and towards the end of the game Anthony Gordon was subbed off by Eddie Howe, and that's what this video is all about today. So I'm sure you've seen the rounds on social media about Anthony Gordon's altercation with Eddie Howe, this bust up. Now, of course, Anthony Gordon shouldn't have done it, but I actually think long term it benefits Newcastle United. I'm going to explain why in this video. I don't think it's anywhere near as bad as people make it out to be on social media. For example, I've seen this guy that pretends to be Newcastle United on Twitter. His tweet has over 12,000 likes of the club pretending to send Anthony Gordon down to the under-21s. Now, of course, this is a fake tweet. He's not going to the under-21s, but the fact that over 12,000 people would believe that tweet, I think, suggests quite a lot about the incident. A lot of people really don't like Anthony Gordon for it. But honestly, I don't think it's that bad. I really don't think it is. So I'm here today to tell you why I think it benefits Newcastle long term, why I think it helps Anthony Gordon. You got to remember as well, this is a kid that's 21 years old. He is younger than me playing first team football for Newcastle. He still has a lot to learn, he still has a lot to give, and I don't think this situation should be detrimental to him at all. So hi there guys, welcome back to the channel. If you like what you're watching, make sure you get down there, hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Smash the like button if you enjoy the content, and finally make sure to let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Do you think Anthony Gordon should be punished for what he did against Brentford? Again, this is opinionated, so if you don't agree with me, then that's fine. Just don't come after us, essentially. So sit back, relax, and I'm going to get through all the reasons why I actually think it benefits Newcastle. First off, when it comes to bust-ups, Newcastle are no secret to them. We've had so many throughout our history. Kieran Dyer, Lee Boyle, quite a famous one. 2 Newcastle players punching each other on the pitch. We've had a manager in Alan Pardew headbutting an opposition player in David Myler. And even more recent ones, we've had quite a famous one during lockdown where there was an altercation between Steve Bruce and Matt Ritchie, quite physical. Matt Ritchie called Steve Bruce a coward. That resulted in Craig Hope getting banned from Newcastle United on a short-term basis. And even this season, behind the scenes, Ryan Fraser was sent and banished to the under-21s. Eddie Howe came out in the press conference and said that I only want players who are committed to Newcastle United to play for this football club. We don't know what happened behind the scenes, but Ryan Fraser has been axed from the team and sent to the under-21s. So when it comes to bust-ups, when it comes to stuff happening behind the scenes, it happens all the time with football clubs. It's quite a healthy thing. And in this case, this is actually a public one where Anthony Gordon's came off the pitch and he's reacted straight away. And in Anthony Gordon's position, I mean, this is a guy that's just put a 45-minute half. He's been spinning up and down the pitch all half long. Anyone who plays football will know all about adrenaline, when all these things are kicking around in your mind. When you're playing football, you've got to rush your emotions coming up. Even myself, I remember when I played for college football, I think once I got quite frustrated in a game. I went for a hard tackle on someone. I literally sent the guy to the hospital. So it's a case where in a moment's notice, you can just do something really stupid. You can make a mistake on the pitch and you got to face the repercussions of it. So Anthony Gordon, he definitely shouldn't have done it. He really shouldn't have done it. But it's not anywhere near as bad as people made out to be. I've seen comments saying that this is a player that believes his own hype will become a nothing footballer in the future. I mean, these are horrible comments to a 21-year-old. There's people abusing a really young English football player, and these will be the same people that will come out and sympathise with Dele Alli for his recent antics with the balloons he's been inhaling. I mean, these are the same people that would defend footballers and go, well, but we should believe in their mental health, we should treat them well, and then there'll be the same people that would slag Anthony Gordon off. So I don't agree with that at all. I think he's received a ridiculous amount of abuse. I don't think it's that bad at all. I'm going to explain now why it actually benefits the club. This benefits Anthony Gordon because he will learn from this mistake. In life, it's the same. Any principle you put this in, you learn from the mistakes you make. Anthony Gordon, as I said in the intro, this is a 21-year-old Premier League football player. I know he has played a lot of games for Everton. He is experienced despite his age. But it's still a case where he needs mentoring from experienced players around him. I see Matt Ritchie after the game, he came over, consoled Anthony Gordon. He would have had a great conversation with him. I'm sure in the dressing room after the game, our players as well, Lascelles, our captain, would have had players like Wilson, Trippier, all of our experienced players going over to Gordon, just calming them down, explaining how that's wrong, and explaining to them how things would get better for him. And it's also good for Eddie Howe because it asserts his dominance in the dressing room. Of course, for any football manager, you have to have control over your players. That's a great example where Eddie Howe can almost make an example out of him. I'm sure as soon as the game ended, Eddie Howe went to the dressing room, Anthony Gordon, come here, do not do that again. He'll make it that simple, and then afterwards he'll have a calm discussion with him about why he was subbed off the pitch and why things are going to be fine going forward. Eddie Howe will assert his dominance. We've seen it with Ryan Fraser, as I've already mentioned, but Eddie Howe, I think behind the scenes, will have that mean side. I don't think he'll let any player get away with that. He wants the team to be together, and if there's any threat of that potentially being an issue, Eddie Howe, I think, will shut it down straight away. So I don't think it's bad at all. Eddie Howe is a good manager who'll get it right with his players, but it's just a case where it's happening out in the open, and a lot of people have really sort of jumped on the situation. Further evidence to support my claims about there being no bad blood between Anthony Gordon and Eddie Howe is the club photograph taken after the game. So of course, every time Newcastle win a football match, the team gets a photograph celebrating in the dressing room. If you look at Anthony Gordon in the photograph, he's clearly happy. I know you can only deduce so much from a single photograph, but he clearly looks happy to win the game. I don't think it's a case that always a bit bitter being subbed off. He's a bit angry with Eddie Howe. I think it's one of them ones where it's calmed down straight away. Eddie Howe's talked to the player, he's calmed himself down, and it's one of those ones we'll move on from it. It is possible, I would say this, even though I've been coming out and saying how things have calmed down straight away, I will say against Aston Villa, don't be surprised that Anthony Gordon does not get any game time at all in the game. I think he will be in the bench, but it's possible he might be an unused sub. If Eddie Howe doesn't like it and he wants to punish the player in any way, I believe he would probably do it by keeping him unused against Aston Villa. I mean, if I was going to be honest, I think he would get some game time against him. I don't think Eddie Howe would really drop him from the squad because of that, but I will say don't be surprised if that happens. I think if it was going to happen, it would just be a one game against Aston Villa and he'd be ready against Tottenham the week afterwards. So keep that in mind, but I do think it's absolutely calmed down now. Eddie Howe will have to answer questions in the press conference about it on, I believe it's the Thursday you answer the questions on. So it's a case where Eddie Howe will have to come out and speak about it. But again, I really don't think it's as bad as people have said in social media. In conclusion, Anthony Gordon, yes, has made a stupid mistake, but it's nothing bad. I think it's good long term for the club because Anthony Gordon will learn from it. And Eddie Howe can also assert his dominance and make sure that none of the other football players, if they wanted to, can push Eddie Howe over. He's the gaffer. He's the main man. Everyone will have to listen to what he has to say. So I think it's a good example for everyone involved. Anthony Gordon clearly cares about the football club. The fact he's reacted that way clearly shows that he wants to be on the pitch for Newcastle. He wants to play for the club. And he will learn from this, as I said. He will learn. He will become better from it. I don't think he's going to do it again. I think it's a life lesson for the player. It's a mistake that he's made and he will learn and he will accept the consequences from it. I really think it's good for the club. Anthony Gordon, it's good that he makes these mistakes now. So once Newcastle get to a stage where we're playing European football where we had to have players available on a moment's notice, we don't have players that are missing from matches. We don't have players that are in bad blood with the manager or the dressing room. We have a team that wants to be united, a team that wants to be together. So honestly, I think it's good long term for the club. I can honestly sit here now and say that it's really not a bad thing. Anthony Gordon's reacted to a moment. The adrenaline's kicked in from coming off the pitch. He wanted to play on. I know it was about a minute ago or so, but he's clearly got all sorts of emotions going through his head and he's reacted instinctively. He's pushed Eddie Howe, he's ignored him, and it was an act of disrespect, but honestly it's nothing more than that. I don't think he's disrespectful for the manager long term. I think it's just a case that he's reacted at the moment and now he's going to accept the consequences from it. So yeah, I comfortably sit here now and say there's no bad blood in that. So I think Eddie Howe has already forgiven the player. He might be punished for it, but that's it. He'll be playing next week, so it's no long-term damage in it. But yeah, that's just my thoughts anyway, guys. Let me know if you agree with me down below. Let me know if you disagree. I honestly don't think it's a bad thing. I think Anthony Gordon will learn from this. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below, and I will see you all in the next one.